Gianni, thank you for coming to the studio. Congratulations on the raise. So you're raising at pace, you're seeing a lot of growth. How are you putting this money to work?
Well, I mean, this money will be used to fuel our M&A expansion across various segments that we are aiming for as a company. As you know, right now we work mostly with the manufacturers, while with this new strategy we are aiming also to go to consumer side cybersecurity and the user side cybersecurity. So building the first platform that actually connects manufacturer and the users of technologies.
Okay, and let's talk about how you differentiate yourself in the cybersecurity space. So you describe yourselves as the world's digital immune system. What does that mean in practice?
In practice means that basically our runtime security runs inside the systems. So it's not an external security operator or an agent. Everything is happening in the device. So actually in our philosophy and in our view of security, we want cybersecurity to be decentralized in every single system. So basically your smart TV, your connected system, your car can share threat intelligence between themselves. And right now we have the largest fleet of devices across any vendors. We have 1.5 billion devices running our technology worldwide. 1.5
billion devices running your tech worldwide. Yeah. How would you characterize? You've worked in cybersecurity. You've worked very close to defense and NATO for a number of years through your career. Yeah. How would you characterize today the cybersecurity risk?
Well, cybersecurity risk today is, of course, being affected by the geopolitical condition. As the Danny Banta Institute actually underlined, embedded security and embedded system of firmware exploitation will be a thing. Because, of course, when you attack a firmware of the device, you actually cause physical damage. So I think what we will see in the future will be a more increasing attacks on a firmware surface and on the device surface that actually will lead to physical damage to the systems. As until now, we see mostly attacks on service and web technology or web services. In the future, we will see more and more attacks happen on infrastructure and the physical system. And that's why Exein is putting herself to be the first line of defense between what happens in the digital world and what happens in the physical world.
Okay, so that's an important adjustment and change in terms of the attacks and the damage that they cause. Who is behind the kind of attacks that you are protecting against?
Well, of course, we see a lot of state actor, of course, because they are the most well-funded, and of course they don't have a time limit in which they can operate. Also, we're starting to see a lot of criminal activities, because criminal activity is shifting from stealing all your data to hold your device in a ransom. So basically, imagine you are a factory, somebody will hack the firmware of your CNC machine and ask you for money if you want to resume your production line. And of course, this is causing a lot of economical damage, and also, you know, the higher the economical damage, the higher is the ransom that somebody can ask you.
Okay, so the criminals and then the state actors, and when we think of state actors, presumably Russia, China, North Korea.
And Iran, of course.
And Iran. So those four, which one is the most dangerous at this point?
Well, it's very complex to give an attribution, also because most of those states work together.
Most of them work together?
Yeah.
Okay. What's happening with AI? Is AI helping the bad guys more than it's helping the good guys?
Well, AI is helping both, which is like nuclear power. You know, nuclear power, somebody uses it for doing nuclear weapons, somebody is doing for doing clean energy. AI is pretty much the same. You know, it's used by both sides. What we are seeing right now is that the rise of AI-generated attacks, and you know, we are starting to see also the first autonomous attack systems. So basically, the AI that generates attack directly on the device, and this is very a shift, because firmware exploitation in the past used to be a very human-intensive work, because you have to study how the device was compiled, what kind of characteristic the device had. Right now, you can automatize the entire attack chain, which will lead to a higher numbers of attack, also very complex attack that before required a lot of study and, of course, a lot of human work.
So we're talking about autonomous AI attack agents?
Attack agents, devices, directly to the device.
So what are you doing to use AI to defend against those kind of attacks?
Well, we use AI mostly to analyze how a device should be running. You know, we are working on devices that tend to be very recursive. So, for instance, a smart TV it's doing the same stuff all over again, same as a light in an airport and stuff like this. So we use AI to understand the pattern of execution of those devices. So to really understand how those devices are executing and try to apply a zero trust policy in whatever the device should not do. So for us, AI is both an agent and both help us to understand what device is supposed to do.
Let me get back to the business and the valuation story. Yeah. You've said that the valuation has nearly, your team said the valuation's nearly doubled in the 5 months between your last raise in July and now. What is the valuation?
Well, we will not share publicly, but most
you can share it here, just between us.
No, of course, we are not alone, but maybe next time we will have some bigger announcement also.
Well, give me some sense in terms of the growth metrics then, now and into 2026.
Yes, so we growing from 2024 to 2025, we grow 5 times. In terms of revenue and the contracted
That's 5x on revenue.
Yeah, 5x on revenue, and we are aiming at least to do 3 times next year. Of course, you know, we will. You cannot do 5 times every year. This was an exceptional year this year, and also because we are becoming bigger. But I think the amount of devices that are being connected right now is really staggering, and actually we've seen more and more devices getting hit by attacks, and also manufacturing takes the responsibility of those attacks and thinking that they should be their part, and Exein is helping them to do their part on providing technology to ship better and safer devices directly to the market.
Gianni, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Really interesting.